On today's video, we're going to talk about the eve of Thanksgiving and how to prevent pre-Turkey Day turmoil, starting right now. Welcome everybody, my name is Perry. I'm a nightlife security professional as well as director of security at a large Phoenix nightclub. If you're new to the channel, here at BouncerTips, we talk about tips, tricks, and we talk about the tools that we use here in the nightlife security industry. If this is the type of content that you're interested in, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also make sure you hit that little notification bell so you get updates of future content. Every November here in the United States, we celebrate a little event called Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a holiday here in the States where we all get together as family and friends, sit down, share a meal together, and be thankful for all the things that we've been given here in the United States. Thanksgiving is one of the biggest travel times of the year, and a lot of people are moving throughout the country getting together for this special event. Now, what comes along with Thanksgiving is that the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving is one of the busiest nights in the nightlife industry, right up there with New Year's Eve and St. Patrick's Day. So on today's video, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things you should be aware of, should look out for, and how to protect your business and make it one of the best nights of the year. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to do is talk about why it's one of the busiest nights in the industry. And that is that people travel all over the country, come back to their home area where they come from, and what happens is a lot of the times when they get there, before they get together with their family and have a meal, what they do is they want to get in contact with friends that they've lost contact with. They want to meet with people that are in their area, in their hometown that they may not have seen in years, and they tend to get together and they go to local drinking establishments to spend some time together and reacquaint. Now, in a perfect world, that's exactly what would happen. Everybody get together and there would be peace and harmony and everybody would enjoy each other's company. But that's not the case always. And like any time when you have people getting together mixed with alcohol, bad things can happen, and that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. The first thing you really need to be aware of is that the people coming to your bar on Thanksgiving Eve are people that are not typical drinkers. So what that means for us in the nightlife security industry is we're going to have a lot more inexperienced drinkers in our establishment, so you're going to see the level of intoxicated guests in your establishment go up quite a bit. Now, my tips for keeping this under control is to make sure that you're on the floor and monitoring how much people are consuming. If you see a table that's a 4-top and you've got 4 people at that table, but yet you see 8 or 12 shot glasses at that table, it's a situation where you want to monitor that table and make sure that those folks are not getting too intoxicated. The second tip I can give you is to use the friends that are with that particular person to kind of slow them down if need be. What I'll typically do is I'll go up to a friend of theirs off to the side and let them know that your friend is starting to show some signs of intoxication, and what I'd like you to do is get them some water and try to slow them down just a little bit so we can keep them in the club. And typically, because their friends have more influence with the person than what I would have, that strategy helps quite often. Now, my goal isn't to ruin people's nights or kick them out of the establishment. My goal is to keep them there having a good time and drinking responsibly. But every once in a while, people go a little bit beyond that limit, and we have to deal with that situation and remove them from the establishment. And on a night like Thanksgiving Eve, where people are trying to get together, I really hate doing that. So again, try your best in trying to monitor how much alcohol people are consuming at your establishment. The second thing to be aware of on Thanksgiving Eve is a little thing that I like to call old beef. And what I mean by that is, again, a lot of people are coming back into town. These are friends and relations and people that they've gone to high school with, university with, college with, and what they've done is they've actually got together and it's a reunion of sorts. Old beef is a situation where people get together that haven't seen each other in a while, but 1 or 2 members of the group have some history of animosity towards each other. Now, this can be a situation where somebody did something wrong, somebody owes somebody money, things along those lines, and they meet up with the person in the bar on Thanksgiving Eve, and we have now what we call old beef, and alcohol just seems to bring that to the surface. So as a security personnel, you need to be on the lookout for people that are starting to get into altercations or heated discussions, or maybe off in a corner where they're just hashing things out and it's starting to get elevated. Those are the types of things that you should be looking for to make sure that there aren't any fights in your establishment on Thanksgiving Eve. A third thing to be on the lookout for on Thanksgiving Eve is when you have a bar full of people that are getting back together and reuniting with each other. There's ultimately some people that were in previous intimate relationships with each other, and that can bring a lot of tension to a particular group. For example, a group comes in, they have a girl that was part of the group, and she used to date somebody else in that group. Now she's with somebody else, and there's tension in that room the whole night, especially if they get an opportunity to speak to each other. It can cause situations where altercations can break out because the old boyfriend and the new boyfriend get into an altercation. So you need to be aware of those type of interpersonal situations that are happening in your bar. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be able to intervene and get involved in that stuff, but you need to be on lookout for things that are raising tension within groups of people. And there were some quick tips on things that you should be looking out on Thanksgiving Eve. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to learn more about the nightlife security industry, click this link right here, and you've just been taken beyond the ropes. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.